Sports Entertainment is recorded live at twitch.tv/baldyandthebeast. Join us every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time and watch the matches right along with us.
Welcome to Tweeners, the podcast.
All right, we're live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bront.
I'm Willem.
And we are Baldy and the Beast, or Tweeners, the podcast, depending on if you heard
Tweeners,
that
the
or
podcast.
not. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Sports Entertained. Willem, this is kind of an unannounced episode, so this might be a real question people have. What are we doing today?
Today we are watching Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog from SummerSlam 1992. It's the first pay-per-view ever to happen in the UK.
You stole one of my facts.
Yeah, I know.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, I got the haircut, the shaved face, like not shaved all, but I trimmed up the beard. I got to get something going.
You are looking good over there, my friend. I have to admit, this is the first time I'm seeing you, but I looked over on stream. You are looking very managerial. So anyways, like you said, this is Bret Bulldog, and this is from August 29th of 1992. This happened in Wembley Stadium in London, England. So there were 80,355 people there, but that might be Vince kayfabe. Which wouldn't shock me out of this time period. Vince loved the kayfabe numbers.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, so this was Willem kind of spoiled this fact for me. It was the first UK pay-per-view, but it was also the first major WWF pay-per-view to be held outside of the United States.
Okay.
And Bret also said this was his favorite match, which is absolutely amazing for reasons that I will talk about later.
Yeah.
And also this next thing that's amazing. This was rated the best match in SummerSlam history. And that's way more impressive once I get to the end spot.
Okay.
So these two are like brother-in-law for real. They're shoot brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
And leading up to this match, they had interviews with Bulldog's wife, Diana, and Helen Hart, claiming that this match is tearing the family apart because Bruce Hart is supporting Davey Boy while Owen backed Bret. Diana said, yeah, I hope you were just gonna. Owen backed Bret. I hope you're gonna look over that because I totally tripped over. I'm gonna totally trip over those words too.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Yeah, you know I call out everything. I ruin shit for everybody.
Oh, yeah, you do. You ruined wrestlers. Whole wrestlers for me.
I've ruined whole wrestlers for you.
Anyways, Diana said that she didn't know who she wanted to win because she was close to both men. Pick your fucking husband!
Right.
It's your husband! Pick your husband.
It doesn't make any sense.
If my brother and Kim get into a fist fight, I'm gonna put my money on Kim because I picked her. I'm stuck with him.
Right. Fuck you, Elijah.
Anyway.
Love you, Elijah.
But she said she hoped no one would get hurt. Unfortunately for her, though, Bulldog did get hurt as he had a staph infection in his knee. And despite concerns that, Davey Boy wanted to have this match anyways. And Bret later said that he doubted the legitimacy of the injury. And so going into the match, Bret pretty much had to carry Bulldog through this match. Literally carry him because Bulldog forgot what they had planned. Not only had Bulldog forgotten what they had planned, but he was also not in very good cardio shape. And that was probably because he just came out of like a week-long crack binge with Jim Neidhart. So, he forgets everything because he's cracked out. And so now, all the props, addiction sucks. I'm not trying to shit on Bulldog at all. But props on Bret for being able to carry not only what is his favorite match, but also the best-rated match in SummerSlam history with an opponent that didn't know what they were doing and was in poor cardio shape because of drugs. That is literally wrestled his way around a broom to a 5-star match.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like you brought up earlier to me today that this match kind of it encapsulates the idea that Bret Hart could really bring anybody to at least a 3-star match. There's this match and then the Tom McGee match that's famous because Tom McGee was not a good worker, but Bret made him look so good that Vince offered him a contract on the fucking spot.
Yeah, because Bret is that good. He is elevate everybody he gets into the ring with levels of good.
Yep.
which is impressive because that's hard. It's hard to be good. It's even harder to make people around you good.
Oh yeah.
That's why Vince really should have hung on to him. But, Vince still won. So it's not like that. Well, if he had held on to Bret, he would have, won the Monday Night War.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be argued that Bret really had any staying power in the Monday Night War in general. I just realized that I still got a freaking Christmas ornament hanging up in my background.
Yeah, happy Christmas.
3 months late. It's fine. Anyway.
Christmas in March.
Yep. You want to go ahead and run down the card?
Yeah, we can run down the card, which I totally got prepped beforehand.
It's also...
I remembered.
It's a very funny thing, because, like, but Bret Hart always saw the WWF title as being super duper prestigious, because it was for a very long time. It's a very prestigious title. And it's still, like, arguably the top title in professional wrestling from a, like, exposure standpoint, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things about Bret Hart is how fucking Kevin Nash always refers to him as the $400,000 a year champion. Because everybody else was like, no, if I'm going to be champion, I'm going to be making the big bucks. And Bret was just like, no, I just want to be champion. Doesn't matter how much I'm making. Like he was in for the belt. He wasn't in it for the dollars.
Yeah, which I hate to say is stupid, because you should do stuff because you love it. But you should also make good money while doing stuff because you love it. And if somebody wants to give you more money, or if other people that would be in your position would make more money, then damn it, you should too.
Yeah.
If for no other reason than gotta retire sometime. Gotta make those dollary dues.
Right. Gotta retire, gotta have something in the savings, because in wrestling there ain't no pensions, there ain't no retirement plan, there ain't nothing left around. You gotta have that money saved up. The pension and retirement plan are fucking conventions. That's if you don't save your money, you're on the convention loop. Yep. Or you're like Terry Funk and you're wrestling till you're 81.
I think Terry Funk does that because Terry Funk likes to wrestle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Terry Funk just likes to wrestle, but still.
Yeah. But let's go ahead and hit that card, because it is a little bit of a long card. So we have 2 dark matches to start the show. The first one was Jim Duggan and the Bushwhackers defeating the Mountie and the Nasty Boys, which is a really mixed match tag team.
Oh yeah, that's way out there.
And the second one, we have Papa Shango defeating Tito Santana. The proper opener was good, because this is 1992, and you have LOD with Paul Ellering defeating Ted DiBiase and IRS to open your card. That's a good match.
Oh yeah.
If for nothing else, then I like to watch LOD back then. They just were the epitome of, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. And
is that the match, like the famous match where they rode motorcycles down to the ring?
I think it might be. Okay. It might be the Rocco match, but I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Next up, we have Nails defeating Virgil. Rick.
Yeah.
The less said about that, probably the better.
Yeah.
Rick Martel. Then I had a double count out with Sean, which I hate double. It has to be done super, super well for me to be okay with it.
Right.
Like, it has to be done in such a way where, like, yeah, there was a double count out because it had been like a 40-minute match and both men were so exhausted they hit each other with a big move and they were just out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I dislike it still, but at least I'm like, okay, it's because they just beat the fuck out of each other so much they just passed out. There was no other. But nonetheless, that's me getting on a tangent. Next up for the tag team titles, we have the Natural Disasters, which is Earthquake and Typhoon, defeating the Beverly Brothers, Bo and Blake. Followed by Crush defeating Repo Man. And kind of early in the card here, we have Ultimate Warrior versus Randy Savage for the WWF title. So this did not go on last because, you know, you're in England and you have the British Bulldog fighting for the IC strap. So they actually put that in the main event.
I really respect that because, like, so often you'll have a show in some wrestler's hometown and it'll go on in the middle of the card. It won't have any bearing on what's actually going on. So in a time like this where they know they're going to the UK, they know they're going to Wembley Stadium, they know they're going to where the British Bulldog will be the most over person in the fucking building, they put that on last. And that's just good booking. And it's a good way to... It made all the sense in the world, and it's a good way. It's a good way to make sure that however many thousand people is not a kayfabe number.
Yeah, and it puts butts in the seats.
Yep.
So, anyways, Ultimate Warrior won that match by defeating Randy Savage by countout. Next up we have
is that
Taker.
Is that the match where he hit Warrior with 5 elbow drops in a row?
Probably, because it goes 28 minutes, and I know for a fucking fact Warrior cannot wrestle a 28-minute match.
Oh, no.
I have as much bearing on wrestling a 28-minute match as Warrior. Now, don't get me wrong. Warrior can out-wrestle the shit out of me on a 5-minute match. Any match, really. I'm just saying we could both be about as gassed at minute 28.
I don't know, man. I feel like you and him, like, there were reports that Warrior was gassed on his way, like, doing his sprint from backstage to the ring. I bet you would probably also be just as gassed after your walk from backstage to the ring. So you'd both
walk to his sprint.
Right. You would both be very, very tired by the time the bell rings.
I would roll into the ring like, fuck, wrestling is hard.
Fuck, man. Now I got to take bumps and shit. God.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Right. Where my $500,000, Vince?
I have not done this yet, and I know for a fact I don't get paid enough for this. Anyways, next up we have Undertaker defeating Kamala by DQ. The match only went 3 minutes. It was an exhibition more than anything.
Okay.
And next up is kind of weird. It's another dark match. The second match, or the match before the main event, is a dark match with Tatanka defeating Berserker. Because since this was in England, it didn't go out live.
Yeah, oh, okay. That makes sense.
So they have a dark match, almost last.
I bet that match probably wasn't very great, and they were just like, let's not air that.
It just got cut.
Yeah. Didn't
make the cut. And our final was Bulldog and Bret. I'm pretty excited for this. Bulldog's good. He doesn't get enough love in retrospect.
100%.
And Bret is fan fucking, especially in '92.
Oh yeah, like early Bret's very good.
Nobody could touch him. Owen could touch him, but there's a reason for that. It's because they were both good because iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Right? So.
Yep. So we're just gonna go ahead and get right into the match. The card on this is very long, and we took a long time getting here. So if you are looking at this on the network, it is the very last tag on the timeline. The match in the run time of the pay-per-view itself starts at 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 12 seconds. Gonna go ahead and count that down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click.
I was just trying to think of who could do the best Bulldog, and I was like, probably his son.
Yep. And this is the finish. There it is. Bulldog picks up a sneaky victory with a quick roll. Not even a quick roll up. He just reverses Bret's like sunset flip into a pin of his own, kind of a matchbook cover.
And look at the crowd go knucking.
They went ape for that.
There are British flags going right now.
Oh yeah.
The pop still hasn't stopped.
Right.
Like. Even back, you can see the whole crowd waving flags.
Yep, they are so excited. Bulldog, literally the hero of the country at this point in time, coming home, winning the IC title in the main event of the first ever pay-per-view to happen outside of the U.S. in the U.K. in Wembley Stadium. Like,
yeah,
that's huge for anything.
Not just any stadium. Like Wembley is a big fucking place to sell out.
Right. You're a little off camera.
A little off camera?
You're a little off camera. Your camera's up a bit.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. There you go. You're a little bit better. So, we've hit the end of the match. I guess I'm going to try doing this now. because you've decided that we're gonna name our
I
match
was
rating.
kidding. We do not have to call it the Ring Post Confessional. I was just being a dick.
That's the dumbest fucking name for.
It is.
You just wanted me. You just wanted me to like fail at saying ring post again over and over again.
Yep, you're lucky I didn't call it the Ring Post Roundup because that was the other option.
The Ring Post Roundup. the Ring Post rating system. God. Anyway,
we can just call it how many stars.
Yeah, how many stars you giving this match on a scale of 5?
Honestly, it was good, but it wasn't my style.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was like 3.25, and I want to give it a higher score. I really do, but it just wasn't my style.
I'm gonna say, in terms, if we're looking purely on legacy, this is probably a 3.25 star match. If you want to look at it for what it is, for where it happened, for when it happened, for the history, like the backstory going into this match, it's easily like a 4.5 star match.
Oh yeah.
Simply because, as we've mentioned before, Davey Boy Smith coming into this match was not in ring shape. He was very not in ring shape. He wasn't in cardiac shape. He had just spent the entire week on a bender beforehand. I'd imagine a good chunk, like a good reasoning behind that, is because of the fact that he was going to be in the main event of the big pay-per-view, the first pay-per-view to happen in his home country.
Yep.
So there's
stressful.
It's very stressful, and I don't want to give Davey Boy Smith like any negative feelings for what he was doing. Yes, you probably shouldn't go smoke crack for a week, but like
probably
you probably shouldn't go smoke crack for a week, Willem 2021. But like it's a very stressful situation, especially if it's the first time that you're in a situation like this and you're not used to it. So given that, in terms of knowing everything coming out of this, it's easily a 4.5 star match. But if we're going purely based on match quality, it's just kind of a move happens, they go into a rest hold. A move happens, they go into a rest hold. A move happens, they go into a rest hold, and then that's it.
Yeah, and for the time, whatever. But
anyway, so now we are going to go ahead and go into Rebooked, the segment where, if you are not familiar, we look at this match in a modern standpoint and we see who of the modern day wrestling landscape could do this match just as good, if not better, than these two men. So, do you have anybody in mind for what you want to do?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Please go first.
Nope. Nobody at all.
So the only person I can even think of for Bret is the person I always pick for Bret, and I'm trying to pick anybody else.
Okay. So my choices for this match, looking at Bret Hart, Bret Hart's, he's great. He's fast. He's got a lot of moves. He can do a lot of great things. He's a great seller. So, in place of Bret Hart, he's Canadian. Let's put a Canadian man in his place. Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Sami Zayn in place of Bret Hart. I'm not going to do the same thing for British Bulldog because I don't know that many British wrestlers, let alone that many British, big boys. He built different.
Big beefy boys.
Big beefy boys. So somebody who is a big beefy wrestler is good at doing very impactful stuff, but also has a lot of good movement, very agile. Braun Strowman also does the power slam. That's really the linking factor here. So we already kind of saw this feud a little bit. So we saw this feud a year or two ago when Braun was just squishing Sami Zayn. But I feel like it has the potential to be a good David versus Goliath match, and I feel like it could very much do this type of match at least some sort of justice. I could probably think of somebody else that would better fit that size frame so that it's more even.
The person I'm gonna pick,
RVD,
frame wise is like not far off.
Yeah.
I just figured out who it was through you talking, so thank you.
Okay. So that's my pick at this point for this match. I'm going to stick with it. I feel like it'd be a fun match, and I feel like it was kind of an entertaining storyline a couple years ago. So Sami Zayn as Bret, and Braun Strowman as British Bulldog.
So I knew when you were talking that when you started talking, I knew who my other person was gonna be. I'm still iffy on my Bret.
Okay.
But what I'm thinking is this isn't a direct comparison by any stretch, but just the way you were talking, the two names that came to mind were Dolph Ziggler and Johnny Gargano.
For Bret?
For Bret.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to go Gargano because I want to see him wrestle the other person I picked.
Okay.
When we're looking at Davey Boy's like build and everything, he is built a lot like Brian Cage.
He really is. That's who I was like thinking about. I was like, I want to change Davey Boy to Brian Cage.
Yeah.
He really is a lot like Brian Cage.
I got to pick Brian Cage because I feel like they're the same size.
Yep.
Brian Cage might be more athletic. He might be able to do some more stuff.
Right.
But he could definitely hit everything in Bulldog's arsenal and
it's
make it look good.
Same frame, same build and everything. Like
he's an inch taller.
If I hadn't thought about it like after the fact, I probably would have picked Brian Cage.
Yeah. So but like that's
it's almost a dead ringer for him as far as like build type, move set. It's
size.
It's just bright. Or it's just Davey Boy Smith just a little bit bigger or a little bit like more Davey Boy plus. Let's put it that way.
I like Brian Cage. He is good.
He's pretty good. I wish he could talk himself and he didn't need Taz to do it, but that is what it is.
But if you have to use somebody like Taz and Brian Cage fit really well together.
Yeah.
That whole stable fits really well.
Yeah. I'm never gonna let it go that Ricky Starks just JoJo poses the entire time before he starts the match. It's never gonna go away. It's never gonna not happen.
You can bring it up this Sunday when we review AEW Revolution.
I mean,
I'm super excited about it.
It's gonna be less of a review and more of a watch along, but yes.
That too. I'm sure we'll review it somewhere along the line.
It'll happen at some point in the future. Who knows?
During the stream, I'm sure we'll be like, that was good or that was bad.
That was good.
But it's AEW, so probably that was good.
I am really excited for it because Revolution last year was fantastic. The last pay-per-view they did was fucking phenomenal. I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday. I wish it. Well, okay. I can't say I wish it was Saturday. I'm kind of glad that it got moved to Sunday because that means I can actually go to Shadowrun this week if we're doing Shadowrun. But I'm very excited for the pay-per-view. I'm a little miffed that I have to do stuff 2 days in a row, but whatever. That's me being lazy.
So I don't need last year's pay-per-view to have been good. Their last pay-per-view, I don't care.
Yeah.
I was sold on this pay-per-view when Kenny Omega said the words exploding barbed wire death match. I was like, fucking shut up and take my money. You have all of it. You can have all of my green papers.
I know.
Just put that shit directly into my veins.
I'm so excited. And if you want to watch us talk about another exploding barbed wire death match, you can check that out in the YouTube page where we watched the Great Onita versus the Great Muta a couple months back.
I am so excited.
I know
it's gonna be popcorn bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not gonna be. It's gonna be popcorn bullshit, but it's gonna be the best.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way those two could have a bad match in that stipulation.
Nope.
It's just not possible. Like the worst they could possibly do is like a 3.5-star match.
Yeah.
That is their floor, and their ceiling is like a fucking 5-star banger. I am so stoked.
I know it's gonna be so much fun.
And not to mention the rest of the pay-per-view. Like you've got good gimmick matches. You got the money match. You got the street fight, the ladder match. It should be a varied pay-per-view with enough good gimmick matches and enough hardcore stuff to keep even a curmudgeon like me happy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But before that, we've got the stream that we're going to be doing this Thursday. So if you aren't aware, if you are just kind of tuning in now, we had to postpone last Thursday's episode because Broughton had some health issues. No big deal. Like we're just pushing the last.
Just didn't feel good.
Just didn't feel good.
Health issues.
He just wasn't feeling good, and it would be a disservice to the episode that we're doing, or to the series that we're going to be doing if we go into it in a situation where one of us isn't feeling at the top of our game.
I could not have had the kind of performance or like outward energy that I would have liked. It would have been a very boring episode to watch and listen to.
Right, especially for the first episode that we're going to be doing going into a trilogy, which, if you are not aware, we are going to be doing the Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker WrestleMania trilogy, which I'm very excited to watch. I think I've watched these matches all once, but I don't remember much about them. I know they're very good, and I'm very excited to go watch these.
I remember watching this one when it happened.
Oh, yeah?
I got this WrestleMania, I think, for my confirmation into the church. I think that was my present from my parents. I got WrestleMania, which tells you exactly where my brain was as a kid.
You're going into the church. Buy me some wrestling.
Yep.
It
was the same night, and I was like, I just want WrestleMania.
Yep. Boy, like, I don't remember anything about my confirmation. I know that it happened, and that's about it. I've distanced myself from the church. End of paragraph. Anyway, do you have anything else you want to bring up tonight? Congrats to Bobby Lashley on winning the WWE title.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Not a whole lot of African American gentlemen have won
third ever,
and that is awesome. Congrats to him. That's a big landmark thing. You know, whenever that the group is that small yet in 2021 is kind of not the best, but
right. It's very it's probably the best booked thing in the WWE at the moment, simply because it's an actual push. Like, it's not like Roman where he's just like booked to win all the time for no freaking reason. It's an actual factual push going into this thing, and the story makes sense. The story actually goes back a year, and it involves...
He hasn't lost in like 8 months.
Not only has Bobby not lost in 8 months, a big like key factor in this whole thing is MVP. It goes back to last year at the Rumble. MVP tried to be essentially Drew's Paul Heyman. After Mania, he sold the thing again, and then for an entire year, the only clean loss that Bobby Lashley has had was against Drew McIntyre.
Yep, who's also been booked awesome.
Yes, who's also been booked very good going into this. And then at Elimination Chamber, like, you see MVP milling around backstage, talking to the Miz, saying, "Hey, we'll offer you a deal if you go out and cash in if we beat up Bobby Lashley for you."
Yep.
So that happens. Like, Bobby Lashley beats up Drew McIntyre as a deal made between the Miz and MVP. Miz becomes WWE champion. Miz shoots his fucking mouth off, as he does, because that's what he does. And Bobby Lashley wins his first world title in WWE. And he's also, like, some other things to note about this. He's a Triple Crown champion now, because he's held whatever required for a Triple Crown. He's also been a world champion of some kind in 3 different decades.
Is he a Grand Slam? Or just
so? I don't know for sure. That's something we can look up in post. But either way, like, it's a surprisingly good booking for some out of a company that is not known for good booking, and I'm happy that it's actually happening. Also,
I hope they continue.
It is worth pointing out that our friend Walter absolutely called this at Elimination Chamber, like 100% down to the fucking T. Like, he called Miz was going to be coming out and cashing in on Drew after Bobby beats him up. He called that Bobby was going to beat the Miz on Raw in 2 weeks or whatever the hell he did, which happened. And now it's going to be Bobby versus Drew at Mania. He absolutely called this. So shout outs to Walter Grundon one of our friends in the chat, one of Bron's friends in real life, who may or may not be coming on the channel for a couple streams sometime down the line. It might be a couple months down the line, but it may or may not be happening.
Giving away those future plans.
Them future spoilers, them future like, yeah.
Teasers. Tease.
Might have more frienderinos coming to hang out. Anyway, so that's really all I had for today. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about tonight? I know I've asked you that before, but you didn't. I just kind of brought up what was on top of my brain.
No, I love the period of wrestling we're living in. I feel like we're on. I said this when AEW started, but I feel like we're on the precipice of like a third major U.S. boom. You had the Golden Age, you had the Attitude Era. I feel like we're on the precipice of something big.
I feel like it's about to be very good within the next year or two. Even within this year, I feel like everything is moving forward in a way that it's just going to be a very good time to be a wrestling fan. I think
depending on where you've been watching, it's already been a great time.
Right.
Like, you watch New Japan wrestling is fantastic. The indie scene in general is fantastic. AEW's been fantastic since inception. Like, wrestling has been really good for like all of 2020 and most of 2019 beforehand.
And it's weird to think that all of this is happening during the pandemic, during the COVID era.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see how well it translates once we actually get crowds back involved. I mean, AEW's done as much as they can to get crowds involved, and that's done some stuff. It'll be interesting to see how everybody else goes once crowds are actually able to get involved. New Japan, they've got it so they can't scream or they can't cheer. They can only clap and stomp their feet.
Yep.
Everybody's doing what they can. It'll just be very interesting once we actually get real live crowds back in it.
When we get real life crowds back, the dub is gonna have to have Cameron Grimes cut a promo because it's gonna be to the moon.
To the moon.
It really is.
Crowds.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh my god, he's gonna be so over. He's gonna be so over with the crowd. It's gonna be
There's so many people that are gonna be over because they've never been seen by a crowd. Like Eddie Kingston when he debuted, that was COVID, wasn't it?
Yep.
Eddie Kingston's never seen a crowd. Ricky Starks, if he has, it was very briefly.
Yeah.
Very brief. Like, oh, I'm so stoked. Like, Sting has never seen an AEW crowd. Yep. Like, oh, it's just, let's go. Let's freaking go.
There's going to be so much good stuff. But that's enough being excited about the future because we need to go ahead and end the stream. So thank you, everybody, for coming out and checking us out tonight. We will see you this Thursday for the start of our Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels trilogy from WrestleMania 25. If you haven't already, go ahead and check us out in the description down below at the Facebook, the YouTube, the Twitter, all the places that we are at are the description down below. If you don't feel like looking at our beautiful faces, go ahead and check us out on the audio-only podcast on Anchor or Spotify or any of the places that we're at. Once again, all of that is in the description down below. We will be back once again, like I said, this Thursday for Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, the start of a new trilogy for us, the first trilogy that we've actually done since January, since before February. So it's been a minute. I'm excited to get back into another trilogy. Thank you for coming out tonight. We will see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.